Class is going to knock this out. I got all the odd ones, so let's start with number one, factoring the polynomial. When I see this, I see x squared plus 8x plus 7. We'll go with what the book says first by getting all the factors of 7. I know 1 times 7 is the only thing that gives me 7. And I also know that 7 plus 1 makes 8. So the factors of 7 are 1 and 7. Their sum is 8. That means I'm going to have x plus 1 and x plus 7. I know that x times x will give me 2, or x squared. X times 1, or excuse me, x times 7 will give me 7x. 1 times 7 will give me 7. And then x times 1 will give me 1x. So 1x plus 7x equals 8x. All right, number 2 is yours to do. Let's do number 3. I'm going to find numbers with the sum of 20. So I'm going to go and write it out just the way you'll probably have to. If I did this, I know that 20 can be done by 1 times 20. Okay, but this is a positive sign, and so is this. So 20 plus 1 is not 9. So let's go with some other numbers. We know that 2 times 10 is 20. But 2 plus 10 is 12. We also know that 4 times 5 is 20. 4 plus 5 is 9. So that's what it's going to be here. So we're going to have n plus 4 and m plus 5, or m plus 4 times m plus 5. m plus 4 times m plus 5. All right, and they did the same thing we did, 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. All right, number 4 is yours to do. I got number 7. This time I see there's a negative number here, which means I'm either going to be subtracting, or I got 2 negative numbers that are going to multiply to each other that are going to be added together. So again, I'm going to find what sums make up a positive 4. So I could say that 1 times 4, and if they were both negative, right, then that would be, the sum would be negative 5. If it was negative 1 and negative 4, that would give me negative 5. That's exactly what we have here. All right, if I did 2 and 2, I couldn't get 5, right? Even if I had negative 2 and negative 2, it wouldn't give me a negative 5, it would give me a negative 4. So this has to be the set. We're going to have one that's x minus 1 and one that's x minus 4. X minus 1, and v minus 1 and v minus 4. Number 9 is next. What 2 numbers make up negative 5? This time we know that, again, we have a positive 6. That means it had to be 2 negative numbers multiplied to each other to get this negative sum. So I'm going to say that 6 times 1, right? But when I add 6 plus 1, that's 7. Right? Because if these are both negative, to give me a positive 6, they'd have to add together to give me a negative 7. And there's also 3 and 2 make up 6. And 3 plus 2 does make 5, so negative 3 times negative 2 will give me a positive 6 and a negative 5. And there we go. D minus 2 times D minus 3. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 13. I'm going to go ahead and say this is a negative sign, this is positive. So that tells me I have a positive and a negative number that are going to be in the brackets. So I'm saying what numbers can make up 4. Well, that's 4 and 1, right? 4 minus 1, right? Because 4 times a negative 1 will give me a 4. 4 minus 1 will give me a 3. So I'm going to go with x plus 4 and x minus 1. X plus 4 and x minus 1. Let's see, number 14 is yours. Number 15, I got 12 over here, a negative 12. So again, we're going to be subtracting here to get a positive 4. So that means it's going to be 2 numbers, one of them's going to be positive, and that one's going to be a bigger number. So the things that make up 12 are going to be 12 and 1. That won't work. 12 minus 1 will give me 11. And there's also going to be 2 and 6. And I know 6 minus 2 will give me 4, so this would be 6 times negative 2. So n minus 2 and n, or times n plus 6. N minus 2 times n plus 6. All right, 16 is yours to do. 17 is mine. Got the number negative 48. Again, I know it has to be two numbers that one is positive, one is negative. There's going to be subtraction there. What numbers make up 48? Well, we know that 48 times 1 does. That won't help because that's not going to give us 2, not if we add or subtract. Other two numbers that make up 48 are going to be, let's see, 2 times, 24. That as well will not give us a 2 for an answer. Then we could try 4 times 12, and 12 minus 4 is still not 2. So that's going to leave us with, let's see here, 4 times 8, or sorry, 6 times 8. And 8 minus 6 will give me 2. So we're talking about a negative 8. This would give me, positive 8 and negative 6. So this would give me a x minus, or v minus 6 and v plus 8. I'm sorry, I thought that was a v. It's y. Y plus 8, y minus 6. All right, let's go to number 9. I'm going to start doing it the way that I showed you in class now. First, I'm looking for two numbers that are going to give me 20. When I do this, I'm going to have, 1 times 20. That none of those factors that give me a negative 1, right? Because there's a negative sign here in front of 1. We know that 2 times 10, that won't give me it. But I also know 4 times 5, right, will give me 20. And I know that I can make this a negative 5, and it's a positive 4. And I have negative 5 plus 4, which will give me a negative 1. So I'm going to use these factors here. And I'm putting them under the coefficient, which is over here, 1, right? The coefficient of the first one's a 1. So this would be 4 over 1. This would be negative 5 over 1, which tells me in the parentheses, the 1 is going to be what's in front of my x. So both of these would be x. And this would be negative 5. This would be positive 4. The denominators go where the constants are. Now let's see how we did. X plus 4 and x minus 5. 20 is yours to do, and we're moving on. 25 says a projector displays an image on the wall. Okay, here's the image. The area in square feet of the projection is represented by x squared minus 8x plus 15. So this is saying this is what the area is, right? All this area right here. Now it's saying write a binomial that represents the height of the projection, in other words, how tall it is, right? And find the perimeter of the projection when the height of the wall is 8 feet. All right, so let's go to work this out. First of all, for part A, write a binomial. Well, we see x squared minus 8x plus 15. We know the factors of 15 are 1 and 15. 1 minus 15 will not give us 8. But we can also take 3 times 5. Now, negative 3 times negative 5 is negative, or a positive 15. And when we multiply negative 3x, negative 3 times x, we get negative 3x. And a negative 5 times x, that'll give us negative 5x. Negative 3 plus negative 5 gives us negative 8. So our binomial will be x minus 3 and x minus 5. Okay? And a binomial that represents the height, of course, is going to be x minus 5. Okay? Let's go ahead and move on. Now it says find the perimeter of the project. Well, let x be 8, okay? And it says, let's see here. If x is 8, and we say that the perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width, we know that we have x plus, or x minus 3 and x minus 5. 2, we said already, was what we have to multiply both by. That's going to give us, well, we're going to put the constants together, right? And that's going to give us, see, we've got the 8. Oh, we said x is going to be 8. So we're just putting 8 in here. 8 minus 3 is going to give me 5. 8 minus 5 will give me 3. 2 times 5 will give me 10. 2 times 3 will give me 6. And 10 plus 3 is 16. So the perimeter of the projection is 16 feet. All right? Number 26 is yours to do. Number 27 says solve these. To do this, well, I've got nothing to combine over here. When I'm solving this, I'm thinking, well, 2 plus 1, right? That's going to go ahead and give me, or 2 times 1 will give me 2. 2 plus 1 will give me 3, right? So now we have to put both of these to 0, right? So now we've got m plus 1 equals 0. So we're going to have to subtract 1 from both sides. That gives me m equals negative 1. We have m plus 2 equals 0. We subtract 2 from both sides. M is going to equal negative 2. So the roots are m equals negative 1 and m equals negative 2. All right. Let's see, 28 is yours to do. Let's work on 29. We've got two numbers that make up 26. Well, we know 26, positive 26 minus 1, right, will give us 25. And 1 times, negative 1 times positive 25 will give us 26. So we're looking right here at this number here. All right, so negative 1 and 26 will be our numbers. Negative 1 and 26. When we put these both to 0, we get y equals 1 and y equals negative 26. So the roots are v equals 1 and v equals negative 26. 28 and 30 are yours to do. 31's mine. To do this one, we're simply going to move this thing first. I'm just going to put my work over here. We've got n2 minus 5n equals 24. Once again, we're just going to minus 24 from both sides. When we do this, we're going to get n squared, well, minus 5n, minus 24, and that's going to equal 0. All right, what two numbers make up 24 that will give me 5? I know that 1 times 24 will give me 24, but that's not going to work. And then 2 times 12 will give me 24, but 12 minus 2 is 10, not 5. I also know that, let's see, 3 times 8 is 24, and 8 minus 3 is 5. And I could put negative 8 and positive 3, right? And that'll give me that negative 5. The other one will be 4 and 6, and that won't work to give me a 5. So in this case, we're going with 3 and negative 8. So let's see, if I'm doing this, I'm going to have n is, let's see, in parentheses, n is, so I could put minus 8, and I could put n plus 3, and put them to 0. All right? And then we know we're going to take n minus 8 and put it to 0. We're going to put n plus 3 and put it to 0. And this is going to work out well for my inverse operations, which make n is equal to 8. And we also know that n will be equal to negative 3. All right, let's see how they worked it. All right, here we go. They got n plus 3 and n minus 8. That's exactly what I got here. They did it by factoring 1 and 24, which is what I did here, and then 2 and 12, which is what I did here, and 3 and 8. And they realized that they needed a negative 8 and a positive 3 to get that negative 5. They put everything to 0, use inverse operation to find that n is equal, the roots of n are negative 3 and 8, negative 3 and 8. Okay, that's all of them. I'll see you in class for grading. Have a great night, everybody.